Social religious reform movements in the 19th century. Early reform movements in Bengal. Raja Ram Mohan Rai was one of the earliest reformers influenced by Western ideas. He was a great scholar in Sanskrit, Arabic, Persian, and English, apart from his knowledge in mother tongue Bengali. Raja Ram Mohan Rai was opposed to meaningless religious ceremonies, yet he wanted to preserve continuity with the past. In his religious, philosophical, social outlook, he was deeply influenced by monotheism and anti-idolatry. Based on his interpretation of the Upanishads, he argued that all the ancient texts of the Hindus preached monotheism or worship of one god. Deeply concerned with the prevailing social evils of sati, child marriage, and polygamy, he published tracts against them and petitioned the government to legislate against them. He advocated the rights of widows to remarry. He wanted polygamy to end. He played a key role in forcing Governor General William Bentinck's legislation abolishing sati in 1829. Rajaram Mohan Bai condemned the subjugation of women. He strongly advocated education for women. Rajaram he gave full support for the introduction of English language and Western sciences in school and colleges. Rajaram Mohan Rai founded the Brahmo Samaj on 20th August 1828. He opened a temple in Calcutta where there was no image. He laid down that no religion should be relieved or slightly or contemptuously spoken of or alluded to. The Samaj failed to attract people from lower sections of society, and its impact on the culture of Bengal and its middle class was quite significant. Maharishi Devendranath Tagore. After the death of Rajaram Mohan Roy in 1833, Maharishi Devendranath Tagore, the poet Rabindranath Tagore's father, carried on the work. He laid down 4 articles of faith. In the beginning, there was nothing. The Supreme Being alone created the universe. He alone is the God of truth. Our salvation depends on belief in Him. Belief consists in loving Him and doing His will. Devendranath was a moderate reformer, but his younger colleagues in the Sabha were for rapid changes. The greatest of these, Keshav Chandra Sen, joined the movement in 1857, but in 1866 a split occurred in the ranks of Brahmo Samaj. Keshav left the Samaj and founded a new organization, Devendranath's organization. Thereafter came to be known as Adi Brahmo Samaj. After Keshav had his 14-year-old daughter married to an Indian prince in contravention of the Samaj condemnation of child marriages. The opponents of child marriage left the Brahmo Samaj of India and started the Sadharan Samaj. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, another outstanding reformer in Bengal, while Ram Mohan Roy and others looked to Western ideas of society, Vidyasagar argued that Hindu scriptures were progressive. He provided evidence from scriptures that there was no sanction for burning of widows or for the prohibition on the remarriage of widows. He wrote a number of polemical tracts and was the pioneer of modern Bengali prose. He played a leading role in promoting education of girls and helped them in setting number of schools. He dedicated his whole life for the betterment of the child widows of the Hindu society. The movement led by Vidyasagar resulted in the Widows Remarriage Act in 1856. This act was intended to improve the lot of child widows and save them from perpetual widowhood. It was also to the credit of Vidyasagar that the first age of consent was included in the Indian Penal Code, which was enacted in 1860. The age was fixed at 10 years. It was then raised to 12 and 13 years in 1891 and 1925 respectively. Sadly, as reported in the Age of Consent Committee 1929, the law remained on paper and the knowledge of it was confined to judges, lawyers and a few educated men. Prarthana Samaj. The Maharashtra region was another region where reform activities gained steam. A movement similar to the Brahmo Samaj was founded in Bombay in 1867 was Prarthana Samaj. Its founder was Dr. Atmaram Pandurang. The two distinguished members of the Samaj were R. C. Bandarkar and Justice Mahadev Govindranath. They devoted themselves to activities such as intercaste dining, intercaste marriage, widow remarriage, improvement of women and depressed classes. Mahadev Govindranath was the founder of the Widow Marriage Association 1861, Purva Sarvajanik Sabha 1870, and the Deccan Education Society 1884. Into revivalism, Swami Dayanand Saraswati and Arya Samaj 1875. In the Punjab, the reform movement was spearheaded by the Arya Samaj. It was founded in 1875 by a wandering ascetic in the western Gangetic plain, Swami Dayanand Saraswati. Uh, Swami Dayanand later settled in Punjab to preach his ideas. His books, Siddhartha Prakash, enjoyed wide circulation. He declared practices such as child marriage, prohibition of widow remarriage, and alleged polluting effects of the foreign travel had no scriptural sanction. The positive principles enacted by Dayanand were strict monotheism, condemnation of idolatry, and rejection of Brahman domination of ritual and social practices. He rejected superstitious beliefs in Hinduism and his cry was go back to Vedas. Rajiv Sabhat attempted to check the incidence of religious conversion in British India. One of its main objectives was counter-conversion, prescribing a purificatory ceremony called Suddhi, directed Hindus who had converted to Islam and Christianity. The primary achievements of the Arya Samaj were in the field of social reform and spread of education. The Samaj started a number of Dayanand Anglo-Vedic schools and colleges. Ramakrishna Paramahansa. Ramakrishna, a simple priest of Dakshineshwar near Kolkata, emphasized the spiritual union with God through ecstatic practices such as singing, bhajans. An ardent worshipper of goddess Kali and the Sacred Mother, he declared that the manifestations of the Divine Mother were infinite. In his view, all religions contain the universal elements which, if practiced, would lead to salvation. He said, Jiva is Siva. All living beings are God. Serviceman man must be regarded as God. Narendranath Datta, later known as Swami Vivekananda, was the prime follower of Ramakrishna Paramahansa. As a youth, he was drawn to Ramakrishna's message. Dissatisfied with conventional philosophical positions and practice, he advocated the practical Vedanta of service to humanity and attacked the tendency to defend every institution simply because it connected with religion. He emphasized the cultural nationalism and made a call to Indian youth to regenerate Hindu society. Yes, he became famous for his addresses on Hinduism at the 1893 World Congress of Religions in Chicago. Despite his fame, he was condemned by Orthodox Hindus for suggesting that the lower caste should be allowed to engage in the Hindu religions for which they were traditionally excluded. Vivekananda's activities ideology rekindled the desire for political change among many Western education young Bengalis. Many of the youths were involved in the militant nationalist struggle during the Swadeshi movement following the partition of Bengal, were inspired by Vivekananda. Theosophical movement. Theosophical Society was founded by Madam H.P. Blavatsky and Colonel H.S. Alcott. The Theosophic Society stimulated a study of Hindu classics, especially the Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita. The Theosophic Society also plays an important role in the reviving of Buddhism in India. Western interest in scriptures gave Hindu scriptures gave Hindus a great pride in the tradition and culture. Contribution of anti-facet further was she played a role in Indian nationalist. Annie Besant played a key role in Indian nationalist politics and formed the Home Rule League, demanding Home Rule to India on the lines of Ireland. Annie Besant spread theosophical ideas through her newspapers called New India and Commonwealth. Anti-caste movements.